Medusa, a name that sparks curiosity and sends a chill through the spine. In our collective imagination, she is more than snakes for hair and a gaze that turns men to stone. She is a mirror. She reflects our fear of untamed beauty and the hard question of power that can turn a victim into a culprit. Tonight, we step into Greek myth to meet Medusa not as a lone monster, but as a symbol that has traveled through millennia of art, ritual, and arguments about justice. Greek mythology is not only a set of old stories. It is a public memory bank, a place where a civilization stored its fears and hopes as symbols. Among gods and heroes, Medusa stands like a shard of broken mirror, marking the boundary between order and chaos, between Athena's city and the windswept unknown. The Greeks hung the Gorgon face on thresholds. They stamped it on shields. They painted it on pottery. By hanging fear on the doorway, they turned fear itself into a guard. Across centuries, poets and sculptors and painters returned to that face to ask the oldest questions in a new voice. What is beauty? What is justice? And how can a gaze become a weapon? Medusa is not an isolated figure at the beginning. She is the mortal sister among the three Gorgons, daughters of the sea deities Phorcys and Ceto. Stheno and Euryale are immortal. Medusa alone can die. In early layers of the myth, the sisters appear as terrifying masks. Lolling tongue, sharp teeth, bulging eyes, hair that coils into snakes. In later layers, especially in Roman retellings, Medusa becomes a radiant maiden, cursed after a profanation within Athena's temple. That shift from monstrous mask to cursed beauty explains her survival. The same face can repel evil and evoke pity. It can stand for chaos and testify to injustice. The hero bound to Medusa is Perseus. He does not leave home with a lone sword. He enters a network of gods and ritual objects. Hermes gives him winged sandals to cross borders. Athena gives him a mirrored shield, so he need not face the deadly gaze head-on. Nymphs guide him to the Gree three withered sisters who share a single eye. Perseus steals that eye, forcing the path to the Gorgon's lair. Along the way, he receives Hades' cap of invisibility and a leather pouch to seal the head. Each gift is more than a tool. It is ritual knowledge. The shield is reflection. The cap is distance. The sandals are crossing. The pouch is containment. Perseus' victory is the triumph of disciplined knowledge over chaos, of ritual order over paralyzing fear. When the sword falls, the myth does not end. From Medusa's severed neck spring Pegasus the winged horse and Chrysaor, the warrior with the golden blade. From extreme pain erupts a force of freedom. The ancients suggest that violence not only destroys, it also releases what was imprisoned. Perseus carries the head on his way home. He turns the giant Atlas into a mountain range. He rescues Andromeda from the sea beast, where the blood touches the waves. Seaweed hardens into coral. These vignettes become a poetic science of nature. The mountain is the eternity of a gaze. Coral is the memory of a wound, turned to stone in the sea. When the head is offered to Athena, Medusa's face is mounted upon the aegis. From that moment, the Gorgonion becomes a civic emblem. It appears on walls and gates, on coins and armor. The ancient state adopts the face of fear as a symbol of security. This is domestication. Society does not erase horror. It forges horror into a badge to keep order. Each time soldiers raise shields bearing Medusa's face, they declare a readiness to confront what terrifies them, yet still through reflection. That tension between courage and avoidance is the energy that keeps the symbol alive. When the head is offered to Athena, Medusa's face is mounted upon the aegis. From that moment, the the Gorgon becomes a civic emblem. It appears on walls and gates, on coins and armor. The ancient state adopts the face of fear as a symbol of security. This is domestication. Society does not erase horror. It forges horror into a badge to keep order. Each time soldiers raise shields bearing Medusa's face, they declare a readiness to confront what terrifies them, yet still through reflection. That tension between courage and avoidance is the energy that keeps the symbol alive. To grasp Medusa more deeply, we return to the curse. Medusa in Athena's temple is beauty within the sacred precinct. A single violation enrages the order, and the curse falls upon her hair and eyes. From victim, she is driven to the edge as a threat. From the object of violence, she becomes a source of violence. She does not hunt cities. She does not storm gates. She only looks. The look itself is the weapon. By turning the harmed to the monstrous, the myth exposes a mechanism that shifts guilt to the weaker, so the prestige of order remains intact. That is why modern readings treat Medusa as a warning against blaming the victim, as beauty that refuses to be merely decorative, as the feminine that will not stand still inside the frame society built. Her petrifying gaze reaches beyond magic. It is a picture of moral paralysis. When we see the right thing and fail to act, we turn ourselves to stone. When we see injustice and fail to speak, we turn ourselves to stone. In an age flooded with images, people are easily stunned into inaction by pictures that shock. We pause for a second, we scroll, we do nothing. Medusa reminds us to turn shock into meaningful behavior, to discipline fear into care. In art, the face of Medusa is a compact history of beauty and terror. In archaic times, the mask is ferocious and apotropaic made to ward off evil. In the classical age, harshness softens into tense beauty, where tragedy touches poetry. The Renaissance lingers on the instant when beauty and violence meet. Paintings fix the moment of the fallen head with open eyes, both trophy and testimony. In the modern era, Medusa gathers multiple discourses. She becomes a node in stories about the power of images, about women's bodies and speech, about wounded memory, about an art that dares to face what frightens us, while guarding the dignity of the one being looked at. Ancient culture leaves small but telling details. In Libya, her blood breeds serpents, reminding us that violence changes shape rather than vanishes. One tradition says blood from one side kills, while blood from the other can heal. The same source can destroy or save depending on use. The head's gaze touching the sea turns seaweed into coral, weaving a poetic science of nature. Such strands make Medusa a language, a way the ancients named the world, and a way we read an ethic of caution about the power of images. At last, we return to the mirrored shield. Perseus does not look directly. He looks by reflection. The parable confronts an age that views the world through screens. The gain is safety. The loss is depth. There are times to keep reflection as a shield against paralysis. There are times to drop the shield and face what hurts so we can mend order at its root. A community matures by learning to tell those moments apart. From border monster to cursed maiden, from apotropaic mask to state emblem, from a hero's trophy to a modern mirror, Medusa has traveled far through human imagination. She survives as an open structure into which each age inserts its own questions. If we see only a terrifying head, we miss the lesson about justice and responsibility. If we see only a victim, we miss the symbolic power that steadies society against chaos. Medusa endures because she keeps both poles alive. And if we dare to stand longer before her gaze, the stone may soften, the blood may run toward freedom, and white wings may rise on our shoulders, carrying us beyond stale orders. Then Medusa is no longer only the fear of Greek myth, but a promise that even within the deepest curse, a path to release remains.